What's going on, everybody? We are now live. Colin Kaepernick is having a workout hosted by the NFL in Atlanta. Myles Garrett makes a really big boo-boo, and it's week 11 of the NFL. We're going to go over my favorite NFL DFS picks, and of course, the cheap punts, the value plays. That's what we're going to really be focusing on, and the high-scoring games. By the way, if you don't know who this is, my name is Hussein the Brain, and you're watching / listening to the No Limit Fantasy Sports Podcast, where we talk DFS and American football. All right, let's jump right into it. Colin Kaepernick, a friend of the Couch Fam, is finally having a workout. What's going on? It's scheduled at a different spot. He showed up at a slightly different spot. It's still in Atlanta. Now the media is involved. I'm just getting this information now. I'm sorry if it's not accurate. I just looked it up right before I hit stream on the podcast. And yeah, so I really want to see footage of this. I'm just very interested. And this type of workout is essentially a pro day, senior day, however you want to look at it. For Colin Kaepernick, this should be extremely easy. This should be a piece of cake. I believe he's better than a lot of backup quarterbacks per se. One example I always gave was when Blake Bortles was the Jaguars starting quarterback. I was like, look, Cap's probably better than Bortles. I believe he's better than Bortles. Anyway, that's beyond the case. What I'm saying is this should be a piece of cake. If he can't do this, then he's definitely not ready. But it should be easy. He should be able to do it. I just want to see footage of this. Hopefully I'm able to see it. I actually would have went and filmed it if I had the opportunity, but I don't know. I don't think anybody had time to prepare. Her 11 teams are going to be watching this. So what teams would be a good fit for Cap? Let's say the Bears. They need a quarterback. I mean, he might be able to start on the Bears. Ravens as a QB2. I think he's better than Geno Smith on the Seahawks. I don't like Geno Smith, not a fan at all. So I think he can back up Russell Wilson and maybe a couple other teams. A lot of Pittsburgh Steelers memes after what just happened here that Mike Tomlin, I think it's funny. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to happen one bit, but it's definitely, I think it's worth it for the Steelers to consider Cap. I mean, I don't see it happening, but yes, Myles Garrett incident was just crazy. He took off quarterback Mason Rudolph's helmet, swung it at him and hit him, and it was just a crazy brawl. And everyone watches football knows about this, so we won't get into too much detail. By the way, guys, we put the audio podcast on all the podcast platforms: Apple, Google, Spotify, etc. We're also live streaming on YouTube right now. So if you're tuning in, you're watching the replay, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you won't miss future awesome live streams like this one. Ricky's in the building. What's up, man? He says, what's good? I need some help for DFS, cash games. Sure, man. Send me your lineup. And then I'll you know what I do? I break it apart. Were you the guy last time who had a pretty bad line? My advice was spot on. Of course, I'm not gonna be right all the time, but I think that was you who gave me your lineup, and my advice was really good. I wasn't like, don't destroy it. Just maybe add some guys with higher floors, some guys that you're more confident in, some games you're more confident in. So I think that was you, Ricky, and yeah, let's go into my picks. So, looking at some high-scoring games in the main slate. So, the Chiefs-Chargers game is going to be played in Mexico. Super high-scoring game. Says 52 over-under. That's the highest total projected points for a game this week by far. But that's not in the main slate. Oh, I guess not by far, but whatever. This Ravens-Texans game over-under is 51.5. That's a good game to target. My favorite game to target is this Saints-Tampa Bay game, 50 points over-under. And for fantasy, look, I'm not saying it's good a player is hurt or anything, but I'm telling you, for fantasy, for shootouts, this is absolutely amazing that Marshawn Lattimore is out. One of the most important players of this matchup. He's a shutdown corner for the Saints. He is out week 11. That means Jameis Winston, throwing the ball a ton and successfully to his favorite receivers, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. That means Drew Brees is going to get his groove back, bounce back from week 10 when he was horrible against the Falcons in a huge upset that completely shocked me. Ricky says, yeah, it was. Yeah, my advice was spot on. I don't know if you did exactly what you said, because you completely demolished your original lineup and went with a new one. And I was saying, no, we want something in between. Like, I like some of your picks originally, and we need something in between. So you went to the it was a polarizing. It was night and day from your first lineup to your second. I was like, hey, get some in between. Just, swap out 2-3 guys here. So like swap out 2 guys, and then you're gonna probably have to swap out a third because of the salary cap restriction. So who are some good picks? And we'll see what the homie Ricky has, and then we'll dissect his lineup. Maybe we'll demolish it. Maybe we'll give it an okay check. We'll see. So some picks I like, starting with quarterbacks. I'm all in on Drew Brees. Like I said, I think he's going to bounce back. He's going to be great. Not against Lamar Jackson, because game script, no game script. He's got a good O-line. He's got great coaches. And frankly, simply put, he's freaking amazing. Yes, Lamar Jackson. Price is extremely high, though. Guess it's not really that high. It just looks like, because all the quarterbacks are 6,000, and then he's 7,700. I guess it just looks high, but really you're paying only 1,000 more for Lamar Jackson compared to guys like Josh Allen and Jameis Winston. Okay, what do we got here? So yeah, I love Drew Brees. Deshaun Watson I find way too risky, but I'll probably still have him in a lineup for GPP. Lamar Jackson's an absolute stud, and I love Drew Brees. I'm really targeting this Saints. Dude, I'm telling you guys, target this Saints Bucks game. It's gonna be great as far as passing and receiving goes. And let's move on to running backs. I feel like you got to have Christian McCaffrey in cash. He's just that good. Let's focus on cheap plays here. Brian Hill, 4,800. It's gonna be chalk. He's going to return value. He's going to give you that good salary relief that you need. Ito Smith on IR. And Devontae Freeman is out. He's injured. So he is priced at 4,800. I also have some really good cheap punts for you guys. So what you have at 3,400. Raheem Mostert with Matt Breida is doubtful. Not sure. He probably got ruled out already, and I didn't even check. So yesterday he was doubtful. He's probably ruled out today. Where is he? 3,400. Raheem Mostert, RB2 for the Niners. That's super cheap. And then 3,300 we have his backup, Jeff Wilson, who's quote unquote the goal line back. Jeffrey Wilson, okay. Jeff Wilson Jr. Okay, Jeff Wilson, 3,300. Great pivot from Raheem Mostert if you want to be a contrarian. And he does have touchdown upside. Not much more than that, though. Sony Michel, everyone's down on. He's not really the pick. He is cheap, so that's really the only thing attractive about Sony Michel. Now, where is he? 4,900. Okay, I remember he was 46. So Sony Michel, Erman says, what about Sony Michel? He's 4,900. He's been good. He has touchdown upside. So look at this, though. Last game, 4 points. The one before, 7.4. So let's list what's bad about Sony Michel. He has a horrible matchup against the Eagles. Everyone knows to pass against the Eagles. He's also stuck in a running back by committee, and that's not good because he's got Rex Burkhead there and he's got James White, and it's a bad matchup. So Sony Michel's not your guy. Who is your guy is Brian Hill, $100 cheaper. He's going to be getting the volume, and that's what we want. So Brian Hill has a higher floor and a higher ceiling than Sony Michel. So boom, you just swap out. So you got Sony Michel. You're like, okay, my lineup's looking good. I got a cheap running back in there, but just not sure about Sony Michel. Let me hop on this podcast and ask Brain. Yeah, that's what's all you got to do. $100 cheaper, go get you a Brian Hill. You're set. And yeah, those are the running backs. And let's just go through this really quick, and then I'll get to you, Ricky. So wide receiver, Michael Thomas is the man. I think Michael Thomas and C-Mac are worth it in cash games. You just can't really beat that floor. And Marshawn Lattimore would have been shadowing Mike Evans. He's out, so Mike Evans is freed. Chris Godwin also should beast against the Saints. So, double team Mike Evans probably, and Chris Godwin, man-to-man or single coverage. It's looking good for both Tampa Bay receivers. Who else is super cheap? Everyone's talking about DJ Moore. So I love DJ Moore. Actually, I like DJ Moore a lot. But just so you know, he will be chalk. A lot of people will be on DJ Moore, priced at $5,900. Good value, good matchup. He's really good. He gets the targets. He gets the receptions. Everything's good there. And who else do we have cheap? You can go with a wide receiver 2 for the Saints, Ted Ginn or Traquan Smith, priced around $4,000. Demaryius Thomas, $3,900. Let's go to tight ends. I'm going to actually just talk about one tight end, and that's Ross Dwelly. I think I'm going to be all in as far as being my GPP pick. Super risky, super low floor. His floor is about 2 fantasy points. This is his floor, I guess, right here. Something like that. 2 fantasy points is his floor. His ceiling is about 22 fantasy points, though. So I like Ross Dwelly. Just a GPP pick, Joe. Just a crazy GPP pick, and that's all that is. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great tight ends. You can stack Cook with Brees. Olsen's $3,900. I think Darren Waller's going to have a huge bounce back game, $5,500. Great matchup against the Bengals. Andrews is elite, but he's expensive. George Kittle is doubtful. He's not going to play. Some cheap options are Irv Smith, $3,100. And really good cheap option and a punt is Ryan Griffin, $2,900. Decent matchup. Chris Herndon on IR, so Ryan Griffin's going to be getting a lot of snaps. He's not the best tight end, not the best pass catcher, but he's a little bit athletic. He's probably more a pass catcher than a great blocker. He's starting, so yeah. And as far as defenses go, I love the Vikings D. They're the best value at $3,400. And everyone above them is great, too. Patriots with no Alshon Jeffrey. Cowboys with no Matthew Stafford. Bills going up against the Dolphins. They're banged up and they're horrible. And the Niners should have a bounce-back game after their Week 9 matchup in Arizona. Week 11, they're playing Cardinals at San Francisco. They should bounce back. But then again, Kyler Murray is pretty good, and Niners D is pretty expensive. Some cheap defenses. Like the Ravens D as you're just hoping, not one that you trust. And Washington defense is great, $2,800. They're the best punt. Because going back to the lines, we got to trust the lines here. These guys know more than us. That's how I put it. Low scoring game. Washington's favored to win by 1.5. So Washington defense, I like that. $2,800. That's the best punt for defenses. Yeah, prices do vary from site to site. I'm looking at NoLimitFantasySports.com, by the way, and these are the same prices as DraftKings. Usually sites are pretty similar, though. You're saying they're way different? Okay. Well, it is what it is. There's easy ways to pivot. And so let's go see what Ricky is saying. Here's my pro versus pro matchup. Let's see how that looks on screen. Not terrible. Ricky, I got Brady, Cook, Zeke, Nuke, Moore, Chark, Dwelly, Hill, Cowboys D. I want to pick up Winston over Brady, though he's $200 cheaper. I like Godwin too. I don't get what you said he's cheaper, so I don't know which one's cheaper. All I can tell you is I think Winston will put up more fantasy points than Tom Brady. Okay, that's all I'm gonna tell you. So I don't know how you're going to make that work. But definitely make that work. Maybe Cowboys D's expensive. Maybe Vikings D's cheaper. Maybe Washington. Cowboys D's not that great. So the only reason you would pick them is if they were super cheap on the site you're on. And so I would look to go get the Vikings D or even Niners D if they're cheap. They're not on DraftKings. They're not on No Limit Fantasy Sports. Washington defense. There's just so many. So many. Chark is okay. I think I'd rather have D.D. Westbrook. Nothing wrong with Chark though. Nothing wrong with Chark at all. He's got that upside. What's his price? He's around 6,000 on here. Let me see where he's at. DJ Chark 6,200. Yeah, he's okay. See on here, Scary Terry is cheaper, so Chark 6,200. Terry McLaurin 5,600. I'd probably rather have Terry McLaurin. Cowboys D is cheaper. Yeah, so go see what else. Washington. I'd rather go Washington. If you need salary cap relief, go with Washington over Cowboys D, and then boom, now you can go get Winston. So yeah, I mean that's wow, that was a short podcast. This is my pro versus pro squad right here. I feel like I'm gonna be honest, because I'm obligated. I'm obligated. I feel like old school's team is better than mine. I don't trust OJ Howard. I think I completely disagree with this pick. Russell Gage is very risky but cheap, but the rest of his team is pretty good. Kyle Allen's not that trustworthy, but great value. Josh Jacobs, amazing, super high floor. McCaffrey, I got him. That's a wash. Dalvin Cook, he should be the second best running back this week. So I like his team. I like how we picked Washington because defenses are hard to predict. Oh, I did forget one thing. And so I might have to switch up my team. My team is Drew Brees, Mike Thomas, Deebo Samuel, Raheem Mostert, Jared Cook, Brian Hill, Christian McCaffrey, Justin Tucker, and Vikings D. And I feel like I'm going to have to make some changes. I picked Deebo assuming that Sanders won't play. And so I don't know if Sanders is going to play or not. He might play. Boyd is okay. I guess you're looking for a mid-price range guy. Boyd I think has a high floor. So if you're talking about cash games, right? Boyd is good in a cash game. I'm sorry I'm not fully equipped to answer your question right now. I do have projections and floor, so you can hit me up on social media at Fantasy Couch. I specialize more in GPPs and DraftKings pricing. And so I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know. But yeah, I can answer your question. So yeah, Boyd is definitely high floor, good value. He's okay in GPP, better in cash. Sanu's great right here too. Sanu. Yeah, but you're not. Why don't you head on over to NoLimitFantasySports.com. We're also doing a tournament here. Let me try to find it. First place wins a t-shirt. Lots of overlay. Looking like there's going to be lots of overlay. Not guaranteeing it. Looking like there's going to be some overlay. And definitely some free rolls going on per usual. Free rolls could fill up because people love the free rolls. Lots of big free rolls, actually, when you get to win a real prize. And the main GPP $5 buy-in. NFL touchdown. $500 guaranteed. T-shirt to first place. I love that. Yeah, I might change Boyd for Chark. He's cheaper too. Yeah, there's just so many options, and for a wide receiver there for that mid range, you might want to go cheaper and expensive. Yeah, there's a lot of good. Jamison Crowder is a great one. Decent floor. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I want to watch the Kaepernick. What is it called? Workout. I want to see what's up. You guys have my picks. I'm going to, and a lot of neighborhood dogs barking right now. Everyone's going crazy. Got to go handle this situation. But that's it. Going to keep it short and sweet. Good luck, everyone, this week. in DFS, make sure you guys do head on over to NoLimitFantasySports.com. Enter at least in the free rolls, and those are going to fill up really soon, so hurry up there. Enter there. Absolutely free to enter. Make sure you guys do also enter in the NFL Touchdown $500 GPP t-shirt to first place. I'm wearing the hat. I keep forgetting to wear the t-shirt to show off. But yeah, we're doing a No Limit Fantasy Sports t-shirt. Make sure you guys do enter that. And yeah, subscribe to this YouTube channel, No Limit Coin, No Limit Fantasy Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the audio form of the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, etc., etc. We're on all the major platforms. Thumbs up on this video if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. And I'll catch you on the next one.